The liberation of Iran is going to destroy the anti-Israeli narrative. Unchaining a nation of 90 million people is going to unleash the greatest force against anti-Semitism, or I prefer to call it Jew hatred, and anti-Zionism, which is basically the same thing. I don't think most people understand the effect of this, so let me explain. I've been advocating in favor of Israel among an Iranian audience on my Persian channel for a very long time, way before October 7th. So I've seen the changes in attitude in Iran. It is true that in Iran, people already had a negative feeling towards the Islamic Republic disrespecting Israel, and they had negative views regarding chanting death to Israel. They have negative views towards disrespecting the flag of Israel. There are many videos that we have already seen way before October 7th that the Iranian people will do whatever they can to not step on the flag of Israel painted on the ground by the Islamic Republic, intended for people to walk on. On campus ground, there are many videos and images that university students try to avoid stepping on the Israeli flag. And on top of that, even before October 7th, we had the chant of Naqaz Nad Lebanon, Janam Fadoye Iran, which means no to Gaza, no to Lebanon, my life for Iran. It was a common chant in Iran, which didn't necessarily show a huge support for Israel, but it did show that the Iranian people did not agree with the anti-Israeli agenda of the Islamic Republic. Before October 7th, on my Persian channel, when I made content defending Israel and calling myself a Zionist, my audience in Iran at that point in time were not familiar with a lot of the arguments that we're making, and they didn't understand what Zionism means. Like, they questioned me, how could I be a Zionist if I'm not a Jew? I'm not going to go over the details, but some people push back against me that this doesn't make any sense or I'm going too far with this. But then October 7th happened. As we predicted, it turned into a spark for a global Jew hatred that was already there, but was waiting for the opportunity to make a comeback. And October 7th was the beginning of that. And unlike the rest of the world, the effect October 7th had in Iran is that it started a mass wave of pro-Israeli mindset. And everything that happened after that kept on amplifying that attitude in Iran. Especially Israelis going after Hamas and especially Hezbollah terrorists, because the Iranian people consider these terrorists in Hamas and Hezbollah to just be an extension of the Islamic Republic. So when Israel was killing them, the Iranian people were seeing it as Israel killing their oppressors. I never forget the celebrations of Nasrallah being killed by Israel among Iranians. That was the beginning of Israel spoiling us Iranian people, with many of the people that were hated the most by Iranians to be killed, being taken out by Israel. And then the rest, especially then during the 12-day war, Israel took out so many of the main IRGC commanders. Event after event after event, it just made Iranian people fall in love with Israel more and more. But that was all before. That was all before Khamenei being killed by an Israeli fighter jet. Let me explain what has happened. Ever since October 7th, before the killing of Khamenei, everywhere outside of Iran, when you saw Israeli flags, when you saw Israelis come out with their flags, you would always find the lion and sun flag of Iran among them, because Iranians outside of Iran, the diaspora, would come and join them and support the Israelis without fail. Wherever you saw anti-Israeli protests, if you look at the counter protests, the so-called Free Palestine people, if you saw the counter protests, you will always find Iranians, again with the lion and sun flag, there pushing back against that nonsense. As someone that is very much connected with the Iranian people inside Iran before the internet shut down, I also saw that it was almost a given that if you're against the regime, you're also pro Israeli. In fact, being pro Israeli was a way to show your opposition to the Islamic Republic. The Iranian people saw Israel as the main force against their oppressors. But what happened on February 28th? Whatever love and appreciation the Iranian people had for Israel before they killed Khamenei is nothing compared to what I've experienced to the amount of love now that they have for Israel after they killed Khamenei. Whatever that level of love and appreciation was on that day, it became 1,000 times more. I don't know how to explain the significance of that action. The Israeli flag, the Israeli army, and the Israeli nation will forever, in the minds of Iranians, be tied to the killing of the monster behind their oppression, behind the massacre against the Lion and Sun Revolution in early January. I think saying that many Iranians love Israel right now is an understatement. And I don't even know if many Israelis understand the level of love Iranian people have for them right now. I think they're going to get overwhelmed. I think Israelis are not used to being loved by other people in the Middle East. Okay. So I think once the Iranian, because right now they don't get to express that as much. I'm exposed to it. But I think that once the Iranian people get free, you're going to, the whole world, not just Israelis, the whole world are going to be shocked by the level of love the Iranian people are going to show to Israel. And this is significant because this is coming from the Middle East. I really enjoy watching all of this because this is what I have been hoping for and working on for many years. I remember if you go on my Persian channel, you can see that a long time ago I had a YouTube video with the title "Why I Am a Zionist," and that was meant to be shocking. That was meant to be like, what? And now it's common. Once Iran is free, nobody will ever forget that the history of our liberation, the genesis of this new Iran, is now tied forever to Israel being the instrument of our liberation. But why is this significant for Israel? Why is this so important when it comes to the battle of narratives against this axis of resistance, Free Palestine movement? By the way, for people who are new here, let me just explain that the Palestinian cause has nothing to do with freeing anybody. It's not a liberation cause. It's not for the sake of creating a nation state called Palestine. It has always been and always will be a movement for the destruction of Israel and eventually a global Islamic empire. And because it does a good job pretending to be for the sake of liberating people or stopping genocide and apartheid and all that other nonsense that these people come up with, it manages to sell something very evil to a naive global audience. And as strong as Israel is when it comes to military operations and intelligence, they haven't been very good when it comes to winning the battle of narratives. It's not really their fault. They're lower in number, and Jew hatred is ancient, and it's very deep-rooted, and it's global. But this is where the Iranian people will come in. It helps that there are 90 million Iranians. It helps that they're also from the Middle East. The idea of Israel being an oppressive force in the Middle East will be demolished once the people of Israel are being celebrated by a free Iran. This coming from a nation of 90 million people who are Middle Eastern but not Israeli, their support for Israel is going to completely debunk the idea that Israel is a force of evil. This is how Israel will win the battle of narratives, not just military operations, but the battle of narratives, by setting free the Iranian people and having them win the battle of narratives for them. The fact that Iranian people are from the Middle East will challenge the leftist and Islamic narratives that non-Israelis in the Middle East are victims of Israel. And because especially the leftist narrative is that we are the protectors of non-white, non-Western, I don't know, Middle Eastern, brown, whatever people out there, people that they want to pretend to protect, basically Israelis and Westerners are the bad guys and everybody else is the good guys. Based on their categorization of good and bad in the world, the Iranian people were supposed to be in the good category. All of a sudden, having all of these Iranians that under their own categorizations are supposed to be on the good side, coming out and in such large numbers defending Israel, destroys all of their theories. So far, the Iranian people have been really annoying to these people, especially the leftists in the United States. They've seen how many Iranians come out and support Israel. So what they're coming up with is there's multiple strategies. One is, oh, the diaspora is crazy. The Iranian people inside Iran are different. They have no idea. They call us, the Iranians outside of Iran, radical. If they think we're radical, just wait and see once the Iranian people are free. You have no idea what's about to hit you. And another strategy that they have is to suggest that, oh, it's the monarchists, it's the Pahlavists who be crazy, okay? And the rest of the Iranians who are not pro-Pahlavi, they are the sane ones, the radical, crazy pro-Israeli ones, the racist, Islamophobic, pro-Israeli, radical Iranians are the Pahlavists, which are the minority, and most Iranians don't think like that. That's another thing I've seen they do. Again, they have no idea how many Iranians are pro-Pahlavi. They have no idea that the Pahlavi movement is dominant inside Iran. In the Lion and Sun uprising in early January, there was not a single corner anywhere in Iran, town, village, big cities, everywhere. There was nowhere in Iran that people were not hearing the chant, "In akharin nabard Pahlavi barmigerde," which means that this is the final battle, Pahlavi will return. And Javid Shah, of course, everywhere. There's no other name that people in Iran are calling for. Not a single other name. So these are the excuses that people right now are coming up with. I wonder what they're going to come up with once the Iranian people are free. And then they're buried under the pro-Israeli, pro-Pahlavi views that the Iranian people have. So given how much the Iranian diaspora has gotten on these people's nerve and they see it as a threat to their anti-Israeli agenda, imagine the threat the Iranian people inside Iran from the Middle East will be to this anti-Israeli cause once the Iranian people are free. Think of how disgusting it is that these people are taking advantage of the silencing of the voice of Iranians by the Islamic regime to come out and say that the Iranian diaspora do not represent the Iranian people inside Iran, that the Iranian people don't want Pahlavi, that the Iranian people are not pro-Israel. These sick, disgusting people in the West are taking advantage of the Islamic Republic's ability to silence the Iranian people to come and tell you what the Iranian people think and want, and pretend that their own philosophy as non-Iranians represents what the Iranian people want and think. These are the people who said that the Iranian people don't want military intervention by the United States. Fuck these people. People like Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur. These people will not be remembered well in history. The world would look back at these moments and there will be nothing but shame for people who stood against the liberation of our people. This is just the beginning. We have a lot of work to do to destroy this vile, disgusting cause, and the liberation of Iran is just the first step. Join me and my group in this fight. The link is in the description. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Also, let me know if you appreciate these videos. Your comments give me motivation to continue. My name is Armin Navabi. I'm Israel Chai. Long live America. Javid Shah. Payande Iran.